Alright, so today we're learning about numerical expressions, and I asked you to tell me what you know about it. And Miss Lewis is going to be the first person to tell me what she knows about, don't do that again, the order of operations and numerical expressions. So which one do you know about?
I use the saying that say please, which I had parentheses around the P. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Thumbs up if you put please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So I'm not going to write out that. I'm going to write an abbreviation, which we call an abbreviation for a longer word, or what? What do we call an abbreviation for a long word? Not this. What do we call it? Think about English. What do we call an abbreviation for a longer word that we can't remember? No. Starts with an A.
Abbreviation.
No. Acronym, okay? When you can't remember a big long phrase, you use an acronym, okay? So this acronym is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Raise your hand if you can tell me what the P stands for.
Parentheses.
Parentheses. So on your paper, if you don't have this, I want you to write parentheses. The E. We talked about it last week. We had a whole lesson on it. The E would stand for what?
Exponents.
Exponents. Raise your hand if you can give me one example of where an exponent would be. All right, here's the whiteboard.
I think it's 5 and 2 at the top.
Okay, so you're saying a 5 and a 2 at the top. Which one is my exponent? The 2 would be my exponent. Remember, the exponent sits up where?
The top.
At the top. Okay. My M, right here with the glasses. My M. What would my M stand for? Multiplication. You sure? Yes, multiplication. If you don't have that on your paper, you need to write it. The D right here in front of me would stand for what operation? Division. Right here, the A would stand for what? A. The D, the S would stand for? Subtraction. Okay, so you already know that when we're talking about the order of operations, the acronym that we're using is PEMDAS. Everybody say PEMDAS.
PEMDAS.
PEMDAS, and it means parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. We already know that, right? Now, raise your hand if you know anything about numerical expressions. The word numerical sounds like what word that you already know?
America.
It does sound like America. But what word do you see in numerical? Numerator, which sounds like what word? Numerator, number. There we go, numbers. So we kind of know that a numerical expression would have what in it? Numbers. So it's going to be an expression that involves numbers. You already used that for context clues. What is it that we want to know after we complete this lesson? What do you want to know? How to simplify what?
Numerical expression.
Great. She wants to know how to simplify. If I'm filling these two charts in, you should be filling it in too. She wants to know how to simplify numerical expressions. All right, what else do we want to know? Is that all we want to know? Do we want to know? Okay, what else do you want to know?
You have to go in order with the problems in order of operations.
Oh no. Solve problems in order. Good. Okay. Anybody else want to know anything different on what you want to know?
How to solve
numerical expressions? Okay, how to solve numerical expressions. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. We're going to take out our paper that's headed with numerical expressions at the top, and we're going to take notes on this lesson. If I get to something that you do not understand, I need you to do what?
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand, okay? is, Kayla, read that for us. Read it loud. Evaluate. Stop right there. The word evaluate, class, means to do what?
Solve.
It means to solve. Every time you see the word evaluate, you're going to be solving a problem. Put that in your notes if you don't have it. Evaluate equals solve. Okay? Now read the rest of it for Mr. Caleb.
Evaluate expression using the order of operations.
Using the order of operations. Our first vocabulary word is numerical expression, meaning we're going to be dealing with what?
Numbers.
Numbers. We're going to be solving an expression that has numbers in it. Okay? The order of operations. What acronym did you give me? What acronym did you give me for the order of operations and steps?
Please excuse my
PEMDAS, okay? Which means what?
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, okay? This table that you see, I want you to copy down these key concepts. These are going to help us to solve these problems throughout the lesson today. So I'm going to read them. You are going to write them on your paper. Make sure you have them. I'm going to come around and check. Number 1 says, evaluate the expressions inside grouping symbols. Okay? Thumbs up if you know what grouping symbol means. What does that mean by grouping symbols? If we're talking about the order of operations, use some context clues and think about what grouping symbols possibly could mean.
Like when you put the symbols together.
Kinda. What do you put together? What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say
Okay, think about the first letter in that acronym that you gave me. What does that represent?
parentheses.
Parentheses. So the grouping symbols that they're talking about would be
Parentheses.
so outside number 1, I want you to draw a parentheses, a set of parentheses. Step 2 tells us to evaluate all powers. What do they mean about powers? I don't understand that. What do they mean about powers?
Exponent went to the second power.
Exponents. So they want me in step 2 to get rid of all the what?
Exponent.
Exponents. So on the outside of that, make a note to get rid of the exponents. Step 3 says multiply and divide in order from left to right. So that means if I make it to division first, before multiplication, I need to do what first?
Solve the division.
No, you need to solve the division. Okay? So this rule, multiply and divide in order from left to right, whichever comes first. If division comes first before multiplication, you need to work the what first?
Division.
Division. If multiplication comes first, then you work what first? Multiplication from left to right, whichever comes what?
First.
Whichever comes first. Addition and subtraction is the same way. You work it from left to right, whichever comes what?
First.
Whichever comes first. Make sure you have these 4 key concepts on your paper. These are going to help us throughout the lesson. I'm going to refer back to them. When I ask you what did rule number 1 say, you need to be able to tell me to evaluate the expressions inside grouping symbols. Evaluate means to what?
Solve.
Solve.
What did you say for the number 3 is?
Number 3, multiply and divide in order from left to right. Multiply and divide in order from left to right. That's whichever comes first. Add and subtract in order from left to right, whichever comes first. All right, let's get ready for our, and as we go through the lesson, I'm going to explain what these rules mean. So if you don't have it copied down, you'll get it by the end of each example. Example 1, I want everybody in the room to put this example on your paper. It says 27 minus, in parentheses they have 18 plus 2. 27 minus, in parentheses I have 18 plus 2. Right here in the red shirt. I need to know my steps. So what acronym did we come up with that's going to help me solve this problem?
I think it's PEMDAS.
PEMDAS, okay? That's the P-E-M-D what?
AS.
AS. Now, According to this P tells me I need to do what first? Parentheses. Do I have any parentheses up here? Yes. And inside this parentheses I have 18 plus what? 2. Which is what? 20. Which is 20. So I want you to get in the habit of drawing that drawing this V. And then 18 plus 2 is 20. Now, what do I do with the rest of the stuff that's left inside of my problem?
Bring it down.
What do I do? Bring it straight down. So this 27 and this minus sign, I'm going to bring it straight down. So now I have 27 minus what? 20. I'm only left with one operation, so I can go ahead and subtract. I have 27 cents and I'm taking 20 away. What am I left with? 7. So the answer to this problem is 7. Let's see. Yes, ma'am.
Can we just put like everything again and then now?
That's fine. You can put another V and then 7 down at the bottom if you want to. Okay? Raise your hand if you want to see one more example before you do one for a grade. Okay? Alright, so let's just say I have 30. I'm going to say minus, say 8 minus 2. Okay? So now, here I'm going to do everything that's inside of my what? Parentheses first, because I have P-E-M. If you need to write it on the side of your paper, do it so you can remember the steps. First thing I do is parentheses. So I have 8 minus 2, which will give me 6. The next thing I want you to do is to bring down what? Everything that's left in your problem, which is a 30 and a minus sign. So 30 minus 6 will give us what? 30 minus 6, I have 30 cents, and I take 6 away, I'll be left with what? 24 cents. Okay? Alright, now this time I'm going to let you try one. I'm going to come around to check to see if on your paper, if you're taking notes and if you have the steps listed, kind of like how we have them, alright? So make sure you pay attention to that. Alright, your problem is 45. It says evaluate, meaning they want you to do what? Solve 45 minus, in parentheses, 26 plus 3. You do not need a calculator to add or subtract. I'm giving you 2 minutes on this one problem. That's too long, but I'm going to give it to you. 45 minus 26 plus 3. Remember the acronym PEMDAS. We need to see what comes first, and we do have what? A parenthesis, so you need to be working that first.